All right. Thank you, everyone who is on the call today. This is our monthly Lunch and Learn program called What's for Lunch. And today we have the honor of having Charlotte Mayo, actually. She's with Marriott, and she has so much experience in the hospitality industry. I think it's 30 plus years.
Yes, it is.
She's also has 8 years award-winning as a general manager with Marriott. So she has a ton of tips and tricks to help us and everyone on the call learn how to build just a better team that can provide good customer service and just good service in general to your clients or to, in our case, our members. So we're really excited to have you here today, Shar.
Well, thank you, Rosa. Good afternoon. I want to thank all of you for joining me on What's for Lunch Service Excellence. Before we get to the agenda, I wanted to introduce myself and tell you how I started in the hospitality industry. It was 30 plus years ago, and I started as a housekeeper. I worked my way to a director of housekeeping, an assistant GM, a GM, and then a regional manager where I was in charge of 9 properties. In my current position today, I am opening the new Residence Inn on the river at Walla Walla Point Park. I'm very excited to be part of a new adventure with the hotel group to open the hotel. I'm passionate about excellent customer service and have received the Marriott Diamond GM and GM of the Year, where your service scores must be in the top 5% of Marriott properties in your brand. Then in 2016, I won Washington State GM of the Year, which was a great honor. I love taking care of my guests and associates. I like paying attention to the details. I surprise and delight my guests, offering them an exceptional experience, not just a hotel stay. Since 2003, I've been serving the Wenatchee Valley on several boards, such as TPA, LTAC, Chamber, Hotel Motel Association, just to mention a few. So with that said, we will go to how to build your service culture excellence. And number 1, what is a service culture and why is it important? Number 2, empower your associates to take care of your customers. And number 3, train the trainer. But one more thing before we get to the agenda. I wanted to talk about and reflect back to last month's topic on quality hiring with Jim Orozco. Because your first steps in creating a culture of service excellence is having the right person for the right position. A couple of the takeaways I got from that presentation was good recruiting takes creativity and commitment. When hiring for a customer service position, pay attention to their body language. You can teach technical skills, but not personality traits. Creative use of interview questions. Hiring the right person or any person right now to fill a position is difficult and very competitive. With that said, we'll go ahead to the agenda. So now we have hired the right person and we need to get them on board and train them. We need to start with our service culture. So what exactly is a service culture? A service culture is an environment created within a business where the employees take on a customer-centric approach, which goes beyond their regular duties and handbook requirements. Your employees can read about your culture in a company handbook, but if there's no one to be an example or to use the tools provided, then it will be forgotten. And I've seen this happen over and over again. Why is building a service culture important? It's important to create a united, loyal team that is founded on established core values that are congruous throughout the entire business. It provides a consistent level of service that is then passed to guests from the management level to the associates. This is also how you will build the consistency of service throughout your company and organization. So how do you build a service culture? Building a service culture begins with understanding the beliefs and behaviors of the company, or the vision and values it upholds, by communicating the vision through trainings, leading by example, celebrating successes, and even defending the culture when appropriate. So the first step would be to define your customer. This is important to know who your customer is so you can figure out what's important to them, what they are looking for in services or products that you are selling them. Example, Residence Inn target guest is called a maximizer. They travel like they live, work, play, and stay for extended periods of time. They frequent local businesses because they want to be able to do some of the things they normally would do at home. So we need to be able to communicate our vision of service. And you can do this by establishing core values and a mission statement. The hotel group that I work for now, their mission statement is inspired hospitality greatness. Their values are to serve, inspire, and deliver. To keep reinforcing these values, we have what's called the key three. We acknowledge and smile, anticipate and deliver, and sincerely thank. So it's important now to be able to use those train your vision and use visuals such as PowerPoint, whiteboard, videos, just to mention a few. One fun way to do this is by using acronyms. Find one that you can relate to. You can Google it, and here's a few examples. Learn, Leap, and Apple. Learn is to listen, empathize, apologize, respond, and notify. Now that's one through Marriott. Leap is listen, empathize, ask, and produce. And I'm not sure where that one came from, but you can Google it and find many. Apple, I just thought since we're Wenatchee Valley, I had to put this one on there, and that's approach with a warm welcome, probe politely, present a solution, listen and resolve, end with a farewell and an invitation. So the next one, I wanted to tell a little story. I used to think that I could take care of guests really well and that I didn't need some silly acronym to help me. But once I decided to be open-minded, I tried it and found that it really worked. It was great for helping me to train my staff on how to be empowered to take care of our guests. Being the example is one of the most important steps of building a culture. If you're honest and trustworthy, respectful, and teach others to be the same, your staff will look to you to see how you handle different situations. They're always paying attention to you. So this is your opportunity to pay attention to them. Sometimes you may have to defend the culture with your employees and your guests. It's common that your employees will have disagreements. If you're prepared with how you're going to handle these situations and are consistent, it will help you set up boundaries and what you will allow to take place. If a customer or guest is always right, what do you do when they're wrong? You can say a customer is always right until they're wrong. What happens if a customer complains about your employee? Do you tell that guest they're lying? Do you tell the employee that they're lying? Of course not. You must take care of the customer. You must defend the culture. The customer is always right. You must have open communication and discuss with your employee that you will always be in favor of the guest and will take care of them. So even if your employee did not do anything wrong, the perception from your guest is what matters. You can always agree to disagree if needed. And the only exception to this rule is if the only exception would be if the guest was harassing or being harmful to your employee. Your employees needs to know that they are in a safe work environment and that you will take care of them. So one of my favorites is to celebrate successes. This is extremely important because the benefits continue beyond retention. Celebrating success stimulates a feeling of inclusion, innovation, appreciation, and collaboration in the brain, which paves way for creative thinking, calmer work environments, increased focus, and resilience to stress, even during periods of high pressure situations. And let's not forget that human beings are naturally social. It's no accident that we call these firms, with celebrating your successes. Some of the examples would be having a company picnic or taking your employees on an ice skating party, or any activity that the employees get to bring the whole family. Because this is a great way for most people, family is so important and it makes everyone happy. So it's a win-win situation. Another thing that's really fun is to play the Wheel of Fortune game. It's fun to use it for incentives and prizes. And offer a special service to your employees. Wash their cars, serve them lunch. They like to see you sweat. So these are really good ways to be able to celebrate your success. And then again, let's not forget that human beings are naturally social. It's no accident that we call firms, organizations, and companies where process relies on the cooperation of many people. Celebration is the cornerstone of social bonding. It's one way we can identify belonging to a group or a culture. And if you like the sound of loyal employees and a strong work culture, it's time to celebrate your successes. So if you're going to celebrate successes, you also have to know how to measure success. The leader in the company should measure your service quality and feedback from your customers as part of everyone's daily work experience. And how you use the feedback is really important too. Use that feedback from these sources to show positive and negative comments. Employees should take action on improving their customer skills. Establishing ways to measure success every day is important. To track and to use the positive and negative comments to continue to improve your customer service. It's so easy nowadays to get feedback from social media, TripAdvisor, directly from the guest, to discuss on Facebook or Google what happens so it doesn't keep happening. If your guest has to wait until the next day to get an issue taken care of, they are not happy. And don't play the blame game. It doesn't matter whose fault it is. Resolve issues and come up with solutions. So, what is customer service empowerment? Empowerment of customer service can be defined as authorizing your team to make a real-time decision in favor of the customer. It's critically important for organizations to empower their teams to go the extra mile and deliver great customer service. Empowering employees means giving them the authority and freedom to go the extra mile to make customers happy. Empowering customers and service teams requires thorough training of employees to identify and act on opportunities. So empowering and training go hand in hand. So number one, leadership and management. Leadership versus management. Management consists of controlling a group or a set of entities to accomplish a goal, versus leadership, which refers to an individual ability to influence, motivate, and enable others to contribute to organizational success. Influence and inspiration separate leaders from managers, not power and control. And nobody wants to be told what to do. Coaching and mentoring. Both coaching and mentoring need to start by active listening, building trust, encouraging your team member, identifying their goals, and help them to achieve them. Genuine interest, developing their skills, providing feedback, being inspiring, opening doors of opportunities such as management training or promotion within. Different departments can do cross-training, and that will help your employees. Look for what your associates do right, not wrong. An example, one time I promoted someone to a higher position. Once in a while, it doesn't always work out. In this case, it was very noticeable that the person was not happy. By communication and asking questions, we came up with a solution together. She wanted to go back to her old position, and it actually worked out well for the whole department. And that was really a good thing. So fun and interactive. You always want your employees to enjoy coming to work. There's many interactive game-based learning experiences out there for motivating your employees. Scoring and tracking will create a friendly competitive competition between them. Examples like Wheel of Fortune. Make up questions with information that your employees need to know. If they spin and get the answer right, they get a prize. Fun learning experiences for your staff can make for some really great training successes. Accountability. Accountability is an obligation or willingness to accept responsibility or account for one's action. Talk to your associates about what you're expecting from them so they can be successful. A culture of accountability makes a good organization great and a great organization unstoppable. Communication. Exchanging of information and news. Means of sending and receiving information, such as phone lines, computers, text messages, Facebook. I always know, what employees do I need to text if I need them to cover a shift, or who do I need to call? Be in check with your stress management and emotion control. Take care of your associates and guests by paying attention to them. Being trustworthy and having ethics is definitely very important. You must be trustworthy, which means reliable, dependable, and honest when building rapport with your staff. You need to be have results orientation. Results are primarily a state of mind based on experimentation. It is by experimenting with new ideas that you will find solutions that work. Being results oriented means learning from your mistakes and being in progress of continuous improvement. I have to admit when I make mistakes, and I need to learn from them so that I can move forward. It's not always easy to do that, but it's really important that you do. And problem solving. Just to name a few strategies that could work is don't make a quick decision. Sleep on it. Separate the problem into bite-sized parts so it's not so overwhelming. Don't compare yourself with others. Use your network. Use your people because they're the ones doing it and probably have thought of a better way to handle issues that keep coming up. Technology applications. Not everyone is at the same level of technology used in the workplace. Training for different skills and knowledge. Don't just assume someone's level of understanding. Teamwork and collaboration. That is definitely the ultimate goal. And know your goal. People in teams that are working towards a common goal are much more likely to be successful than those who are blind to what the company wants. Clarify your roles within a team. Everyone should understand what their responsibilities are. It's kind of like comparing yourself to a football game. If you don't know the score, then you don't know if you're winning. A few more examples of training techniques are listen and make time and don't be distracted. Shut your computer off. Don't look at your phone. Don't micromanage. Trust your employees. Don't do the job for them. Include them in decision-making. Ask for their feedback. Continuous role playing will help them to practice, so when they have a real situation come up, they'll know what to do and they'll feel like they have really taken care of that guest. And let their voice be heard. Let your employees' voices be heard, because they really have a lot of information and can be helpful in success of your team. So in conclusion, you want to hire the right person for the right position. You want to build a service culture where associates are treated with respect and in turn, treat your guests the same. Train all your associates and not just the managers and leaders, so that no matter who is training your new team member, the culture is reflected. Your leaders and employees believe and live the culture. They trust and live the culture. I also want to share a story. The Antarctica expedition of Shackleton the Great. This is a book, and it's part adventure story, part leadership guide. This intriguing book examines Shackleton's legendary Antarctic expedition through the lens of business to reveal a set of powerful strategies for corporate leaders. And so one of the reasons that I wanted to share the story is because I felt like this last year, during COVID in 2020 through 2021, it has felt a little bit like his story of extreme conditions where through perseverance, a team of people led by a great leader achieved success. And for those of you who don't know the story, Shackleton's expedition was in 1914 to 1917. And it was Ernest Shackleton's account of his Antarctic expedition, in which his ship, the Endurance, was crushed by ice. And he and his men made a 600-mile trek to reach solid land. One of the things that he said during this expedition was, "We fought the seas and the winds at the same time, had a daily struggle to keep ourselves alive. At times, we were in dire peril. Genuinely, we were upheld by the knowledge that we were making history." He wanted to be the first to cross the last unknown continent, but the exploration was plagued with problems. And that's, he did succeed in the end, but I like the story. And I just felt like last year, it was so difficult for people who had to stay open, essential workers, and even the people who had to close down. I mean, it was just such a difficult year. And so I like to live by his 10 strategies for success. Never lose sight of the ultimate goal and focus your energy on short-term objectives. Set a personal example with visible, memorable symbols and behaviors. Instill optimism and self-confidence, but stay grounded in reality. Take care of yourself, maintain your stamina, and let go of the guilt. Reinforce the team constantly. And minimize status differences and insist on courtesy and mutual respect. Master conflict, deal with anger in small doses, engage descendants, and avoid needless power struggles. Find something to celebrate and something to laugh about. Be willing to take a big risk. And never give up. There's always another move. Thank you. And I wondered if we had any questions.
I don't see any questions coming through the chat box. If you guys have questions, please feel free to unmute yourself or utilize the chat box.
I hope that there was some takeaways.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. I'm trying to just process everything right now. We're adding to our team, of course, and so we're going through the hiring process. And it's really hard, adding new people, especially to a small team. What are some things that you've done to get your team to kind of become closer and get to know each other a little better?
Well, one thing that we did was we did a river rafting trip, and that's team building for sure. Because if you don't all row at the same time and do it the leader tells you to do, you might end up in the water. So team building experiences are great. Also, when you're trying to find that right person to fit within your team, I always have the other team members do second and third interviews, because I want to make sure it's a good fit and that everyone likes each other and they're going to be able to work together.
Hi, Charlotte. This is Shannon at Health Alliance Northwest, and I really appreciated this presentation, and it was really rich in information and, really cool way of thinking about, your team. And I think my biggest takeaway from what you have presented today was really, especially to the point of having a small team, which a lot of us do have small teams today. And we know it's hard to fill some openings right now. And so sometimes we're with leaner teams than we typically have. I really like the point you made about giving your team permission to, or not permission, but the authority, the empowerment, the accountability to be able to make decisions at that they know are going to exceed the customer's expectation. That they feel empowered to be able to do that, and that they have been coached and mentored and given training to be able to do that. I think that's crucial for today's times, where a lot of teams are smaller than even typically, they are. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you. And it is so important to empower your people. That's where the real service comes from. If they have those tools, and once they do it, once they make your guest happy, they just want to keep doing it over and over again. And it's like role playing. As they continue to do it, they get better and better at it. And the guests really appreciate someone who is genuine and can take care of them right then, because it is so frustrating to have someone tell you that there's nobody there that can take care of anything in your problem, and that you're going to have to wait possibly all weekend before somebody can even get back to you. And that's then if they really do actually get back to you. So if things can be handled right on the spot, you're going to have a much better customer service.
I don't see any more questions coming through the chat box.
Well, one thing I did want to thank my staff, Ashley Braden, who is our sales director. She helped put my PowerPoint together, and Miguel, he's always Miguel Perez, which is my assistant general manager, always is encouraging and has something nice to say. And my new chef, Joseph Nagy, added to the content. And the hotel group that I work for allowed me to use some of their information so I could have some examples. And I appreciate them, and I am so happy that they hired me and that I could be part of the great adventure of opening the Residence Inn. I'm so excited, and I can't wait to invite all of you to come and take tours. And when we have our grand opening, that you can try out some of our new food that's going to be at the restaurant. I really appreciate that I have these people already in place for a great, successful team.
Shar, we're wondering if you have a timeline of when your hotel will open.
It has changed many times, and we have had many challenges due to COVID-19. So we are looking probably at the end of August. And I can't say a date because it's changed so many times. It seems like a lot of the products now are coming through, and we're really making progress. And that's really exciting. It's just happened to be one of the toughest years to open a hotel, but we're getting there.
Yeah. We did get a question through the chat box, and I am curious about this too, because we have a lot of employees that have been here a long time, but we're obviously, with this small team, we're getting tired. So what advice do you have for re-energizing longtime customer service employees?
I always encourage my employees to take care of themselves. And that means different things to different people. If I pay attention to find out like what the person likes, so that I can possibly treat them to an experience. If they love to go to movies, maybe I can buy them some tickets so that they can go to the movies. Maybe I can figure out a way to give them an extra day off and fill in for them if I need to, because that is the issues right now that are happening, where everyone's shorthanded. So everyone is not just doing their own job, they're doing many different jobs. And it's a really good question, and you really want to find out about your employees on a daily basis. So when that opportunity comes up, that you know that they're struggling, and you want to surprise them or let them know how much they're appreciated. Another thing is just saying it, sending them a special handwritten note to their house. There are so many different ways to help your employees get back on track and get re-energized. But you can only do that by finding out what it is for them that will get them recharged.
This is Jerry. It sounds like your style of management is pretty hands-on and personal, because you've talked about listening, and then even in response to this question, it's listening and finding out more about your people and who they are and how to take care of them. So would you say that's the example that is your leadership example of, this is how I want you to be with the customer, is the way I treat you?
Yes, and how they treat each other. So it's really important that everybody, that they have that mutual respect for each other. And sometimes some employees don't get along very well, or, whatever's going on. You still need to demand that they respect each other and treat each other well. And if you do that, then that's it. That's the expectation. And it will build throughout your culture that you just help each other. And sometimes when you are doing a good job and, and everybody, knows what they're supposed to do, and you're shorthanded, you don't even have to ask people, because they're looking to see, what can I do to help someone else? And that, again, that's just what makes a great business, like I said before, unstoppable, because everybody and communicating your vision, not only for a service culture of excellence, but what do you want to accomplish? And find out also, what do your employees want to accomplish? And maybe right now, our culture and our people know that we want to win a Marriott award. So we got to think now, before we're even open, like, what do we need to do and how are we going to do it, along with our everyday business.
So setting the bar pretty high.
Yeah.
You're setting that bar pretty high going out of the gate there, Charlotte.
Yes, I am. And I think people in general, they kind of really like to be challenged a little bit, and they want to be part of that winning team, not just any team, but a winning team. And for me, if everybody tries their best and they treat each other with respect, when we go through the year and maybe we fall short a little bit of an award, it doesn't matter, because we've already won and had a good time on the way doing it. So it's set at the bar high and have great expectations, and people will want to follow you.
Well, I don't have any more questions. I haven't seen any more questions come through the chat box. So I just really wanted to thank you, Charlotte, for doing this. All of the experience that you have in just team building and in management is very admirable. And I really loved all the advice that you gave us today. I think it's just so wonderful to hear how you view your employees and how you see every manager or supervisor, how they should be treating their employees. I think that's really important for people to hear, because I think a lot of the times we get so busy, especially business owners, we get busy in our business that we just don't ever have time to like focus on it and on the employees. So it's just really great to hear that, everything that you were explaining to us about just letting everyone know that they're valuable, even if it's with a handwritten note or, an email or buying them tickets. I think that's really important. So thank you so much, Shar. I really appreciated your presentation.
Thank you so much. And if you take care of your employees, they will take care of your guests or customers. So thank you again. And thank you everyone for listening. And I sure appreciate you joining the presentation today.
Great. Thanks, Shar. Talk soon.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.